Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel. And it's Saturday, which means it's time for more Star Trek. And today we're talking about easily my favorite out of the TNG movies, First Contact. It is absolutely head and shoulders my favorite above the other four TNG movies. And it is all about the Borg. Because you can't have at least one TNG movie without the Borg. It just wouldn't work. So, in this movie, we have the Borg going back in time to try and stop first contact between humans and Vulcans, therefore negating the Federation, basically. And they want to assimilate humanity before they get warp drive, basically. They want to come at the threshold of warp warp discovery and assimilate them at that point. And it's up to Picard and crew to stop them, of course. As it should be. So we have, and this is all about their travel back in time to the 2063. And I always get screwed up on First Contact Day. I always mix it up because I always think it's April 4th, but it's April 3rd, isn't it? Or is it April 4th?
I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
You're asking me hard questions.
We're bad nerds, right? We're bad Trek people. We
Still
can't
have a
remember
bad
First
memory.
Contact Day. I think it might be April 4th, 2063. Either that or April 5th, which it's either the 4th or the 5th of April. I don't remember. But
Pete's got a question in chat.
oh, let's see what Pete says. Is this the first time the Borg Queen is even mentioned? I think you're right.
Yeah, I think to this point we don't even know that there is a Borg Queen.
No, because Voyager hadn't been done yet. This was, or, because First Contact was 96, correct? I wanna say First Contact was 1996, which would have been just prior to Voyager.
Star Trek First Contact,
Or-
1996.
Yeah, so it would have been either during season 1 of Voyager or just before. So yeah, I think Grillin' Pirate Pete is correct that this is the first time that the Borg Queen is mentioned. And I kind of like that because it, like, it for the whole, series of Next Generation, we've been told that the Borg is a hive, right? It's a collective. It's a hive mind.
Like bees.
Like bees.
Right, like bees.
Voyager
So-
started in 95.
And aliens.
Oh, okay, 95.
And xenomorph aliens.
But
Yeah.
Voyager was busy with the Kazon long before it.
Yeah, the Vizians
Borg.
and the Kazon were,
With them haircut.
yeah.
Was that even hair?
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
It looks like a
Pincalo-
sponge.
Pincalo called them Cabbage Patch Kids. Is what he calls the Kazon.
I always thought their hair was solid, like it was one piece. Like
And
it
they were
wasn't
all
strands.
they're orange, man. Yeah, too. So
Yeah, they are the true orange man, and they were bad.
Yeah, and they were bad, yes. They were even bad at being bad.
they were bad.
Yes, they were.
They were
bad
just,
actors, yes.
they were just bad.
Only one that was any decent was
badly.
Cullen.
Yeah, Cullo
All the other
was-
one were terrible, but he was pretty good.
Yeah.
Amongst the how terrible they were, he was the best.
Well, even their ship looked bad. We're ripping on the fucking Kazon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should, you know what we should do after the movies are done? We should find like the villains that failed Like, do a
lot
discussion
of
of the
those.
villains that failed, the ones that were supposed to be really bad, or really like bad as in scary, but were just like okay. But so we have the opening sequence of this, which is really cool. The dream sequence, like
Yeah,
it's creepy too. Like,
the dream inside a dream.
yeah, and the way Picard like wakes up to the signal from the Admiral, and it's like it's so like Patrick Stewart plays it so well, but it's so creepy because the Admiral calls him and he answers it and he goes, I know, it's the Borg. It's like the
Yeah.
Admiral, it's like,
Well,
oh,
that first dream, all right, the main dream, the first dream was like being assimilated, and right as the drill starts like
yeah,
denting his cornea in, he wakes up, and then this thing starts coming out of his face like a Borg technology,
Yeah,
Yeah.
when he's
right?
trying to
And then
watch
he wakes
his
up.
face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like, wow,
a
intense.
dream within a side of dream, like I was saying.
yeah. It
That's a
was
trope,
really,
you think.
really cool.
But it
And
worked.
of course, Starfleet tells him he's not to go to the scene of
Well, there's
Borg attack.
an important scene right after he talks about the Borg, is you get your first beauty shot of the Enterprise,
See, that's
and the
a
music comes
visual.
up behind it,
Yeah,
and man, that was the great movie, great movie, great movie.
can
However,
we just say
that
how the
scene,
music was great?
oh my god, that
Music,
scene with the Enterprise behind in front of a nebula cloud,
Yeah,
how it turns and comes right in front of you, and you can hear the rumble of the engines, and
Yeah.
then in the background, it's real slow and
yeah,
soft, like everything is okay.
Yeah.
And you soon find out that it ain't.
everything is fine.
We're placating you. Everything's okay. Everything's okay. Take a deep breath. Everything's gonna be fine. Until,
Borg dream. Ah!
by the way,
this is arguably the most cinematic of any of the films, in my opinion. Just the feeling off of it, it comes off as a movie.
And
to me.
this was the first Trek movie
Those are
I
great.
saw in theaters.
I'm sharing my
Oh.
screen.
Oh, I wish it would make a beeping noise for that.
Beep.
Like that little pop noise that it
Mhm.
makes when guests show up.
Right.
I really wish it would do that for screens. But yeah, this was the first movie I actually saw in the theaters. And it was awesome. Watching it in the stop that. Watching it in the theaters was with all the sound and the
Is it showing up for you? I still see my avatar.
you fixed your avatar.
There it is.
There you are.
Yeah.
Popped up. Look at that shot. I'm
is
sorry,
a good
Pauline,
shot.
but it's
That's
just a
fine.
picture of the Enterprise E in front of like a turquoise and fire red nebula.
It
Oh,
almost looks like a
wow.
painting.
Yeah, it does look like a painting until I hit play, and then suddenly
Yeah.
it's not a painting anymore.
Right.
I'm sure we can get away with
That
just showing
shot
this
looks
because
really-
there's,
look,
look at how beautiful. I
reminiscent.
mean, I wish you could. I wish you could see this, but a beauty shot of the Enterprise as it comes almost right at your face is just amazing.
Oh wow.
yeah.
That's
I don't like
awesome.
that.
Ah! And then there's that face. I'm sorry, they show Riker.
You don't like right?
God, stop
We
sharing.
paid a lot of money for this special effect, and we're gonna make you pay for it or pay to watch
Yeah.
it.
It was that really is probably of all the beauty shots you see of all the Enterprises, back to the original series and all that kind of stuff. Even ships that aren't the Enterprise, the Defiant and all that stuff. That is by far the best beauty shot, I think, of any episode of any series in Star Trek. It really is just such a beautiful shot.
And
I've got.
thank
Go
thank
ahead.
you, Duck Dog, for putting in chat April 4th, 2063.
Thank you, Duck Dog. But yeah, I've got a controversial take. My favorite of all the Enterprises is the Abrams version, the first one of the first movie.
What, of the Calvin timeline?
Yeah, and the Enterprise C designs. I like both of those. Mm, yeah, I don't know.
I like D,
Yeah, the D's beautiful too.
but that's just because that's what I grew up with.
Mm, yeah, I built it and I had it hanging from my ceiling.
And then, so we have the Admiral telling Picard. Well, we don't see that, but Picard comes to the bridge and he tells them, we're to keep studying the nebula, right? And he's pissed, right?
Neutral
he's
zone.
You see it right away. He says, he talks about, the confrontation, and Data immediately pops up and says, it'll take us this much time to get there. And Picard says, we're not going. And he turns his head to the side. Very snobby. We're not going.
Yeah.
And everybody is shocked. You can see it on their faces. Every single one of them are like, what?
Look.
And then he even says, he goes, Starfleet feels that your captain is still
Yeah, that's
affected.
later with him and Riker. Yeah.
Like,
When they're still at that table, though, you get more from the crew saying, well, Geordi says,
they're
Captain, we're ready.
Yeah, Captain, we're ready. Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff. And Crusher says, does Starfleet think we need more shakedown time? And they're all chiming in on this.
Yeah.
But it's only later when Riker and Picard are alone is when he tells us the real reason.
Yeah. And you can tell he's hurt.
Yeah. He's hurt and he's pissed.
He is. Like, he's like, I have done... and if I was Picard, I would be too. Because if I had done so much since being Locutus, and been through so much for Starfleet since being Locutus, and being Locutus, and coming back...
I think there's a special hurt here because he is the flagship. This is not the Sutherland. This is not the Phoenix.
No,
this is not, the Defiant.
Yeah,
this is the Enterprise.
Exactly.
Everybody knows who we are. Everyone knows he's top captain. To admonish him of all people is unacceptable.
Yeah.
I think that's why he defies orders. He's just like, well, fuck you then. I'm
Well,
are we allowed to curse on your stream? I should probably have asked that.
Absolutely, you can curse.
Probably should have asked first.
But like, and I love the way that they had Data be the one who says, Captain, I think we speak for all of I speak for all of us here when I say, to hell with our orders.
And they immediately cut from him to Deanna, and she goes from a scared face to a smile. And Riker just kind of looks at Picard, kind of like, yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
That's exactly.
I like the smile on her face, the way it plays across her face, because she looks so worried, and she goes from so worried to like, yeah, let's kick some ass, kind of. It's very nice transition on her face.
And I like that they had Data do it because, he gets to be, they it's like they remember that they introduced the emotion chip because sometimes in Star Trek they introduce things and then they kind of forget that they've introduced it, but they remembered that they reintroduced the emotion chip in Generations. So to have Data be more emotional makes sense, right? And it works.
Why does it make a sound when he turns the chip off?
Beep.
Someone needs to explain that to me. I don't get it. What was that noik sound? You just turned the chip off. I turn chips on and off all day. They don't make any noik sounds. What the hell?
Could you imagine him being in a relationship and then, he just doesn't want to argue anymore or feel upset about the argument? Beep! Did you turn that off? What the hell is wrong?
You're acting real
That's hilarious.
Yes.
You
I
can fix that. And
I can see to your point. You are correct.
Yeah. Why are you not functioning within normal parameters? You turned it off again, didn't you? No, so we show up to the battle, and of course they're getting their asses kicked, right? They're
everyone else is when the Enterprise shows up.
Yeah.
And it closes them to the Defiant, right?
Perhaps today is a good day to die. Prepare for ramming speed.
Yeah, man.
Easy, Worf, easy. And you funny how they never prepare for ramming speed just because another ship shows up. Suddenly his orders no longer matter. He said prepare for ramming speed, and you said the Enterprise is here.
Yeah.
That's not what he said. He said ramming speed, dude. Do your job. Enterprise or not, he still said to do ramming speed.
Yep. And I like the nod to Deep Space Nine when they rescue the Defiant, or the crew of the Defiant, and you know,
They
Riker
rescue them
goes-
with their shields up, by the way.
yeah,
What?
which I don't understand.
Because the new Enterprise, he can beam stuff through active shields.
I guess.
Can they rotate their shields so only part of the shields are active and the rest of the shields are not, so they can beam around it? They make a hole in their shields that allow for beaming, but protect the rest of the ship or something. I mean, these are all valid things. I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out how that could happen. They must have gotten the shields so that they can protect the part of the ship that's facing the threat, but the part of the ship that's not facing the threat, they can drop the shields there. And once that part of the shields is down, like they're separate emitters,
Yeah.
and when that part of the shield is down, they can kind of beam around the open area somehow. That's all I can think of.
Yeah. Grillin' Pirate Pete has an interesting point. He says there is the issue that Picard still has the link to the Borg and knows about what's going on.
Yeah, that's how he knows
could
where to
be a
aim.
security threat.
I mean, he proves it right there because he says target this location, and Data says, "Wait, that doesn't seem to be a critical system." And Picard says, "Trust me, Data." And the look on Data's face when he says that
Yeah.
is, "Okay, you're the man." You know, that's the kind of look he has on his face. And they
Yeah.
target an area that only Picard would possibly know about. Everyone else is kind of like, you there? That's where you want us to shoot? Sure enough, that
Cool.
blows up the ship. It's exactly where he should have. That's the security threat. So it makes sense that they would know that.
No, but Grillin' Pirate Pete is saying that the Federation could have seen him as a security threat because he has a link to the
Oh,
Borg.
I see what you're saying.
So that might be why they said that he couldn't.
So if they got Picard again, if they were to assimilate him again, that they would have all of his current knowledge.
Yeah. Oh, look at me spilling coffee all over myself. Yay,
You
me.
sound like me, man.
So at least I'm wearing black. It's fine. So then we discover that they're opening up a what did they call it? They're
Chronometric disturbance or something like
chronomex-
that.
something like that.
Chronomex-
Yeah. So they're opening up a time portal, we're gonna call it, for lack of a better word. And of course, Picard says follow them in.
Data
Right.
says sensors show chronometric particles emanating from the sphere. So they never really say that it's a vortex. I mean, they do eventually say it's a vortex, but initially it's just chronometric particles.
So why didn't the Borg just fly around the sun?
Oh, I guess it's easier to generate chronometric particles than it is to do a slingshot effect.
I guess. Yeah.
It's not like we haven't seen that before twice.
No, that's true. We have. So I mean, I guess they
That'd be too pedestrian at the Borg.
I was thinking they had
Slingshot? No, we're better than that.
I thought they had transwarp technology. Because the
do.
Voyager.
But the wormhole doesn't leave off like right in front of Earth. It leaves off outside of our solar system.
Yeah.
That's why they met at Wolf 359, because it didn't drop the Borg cube off right in front of Earth.
Yeah.
But
so they follow the Borg, and we get back in time to Earth just before the day of Severum Cochrane's warp flight. So I think it's either 1 day or 2 days before the actual flight that they arrive.
mhm.
And we also discover that some Borg have made a home on board the Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
Because suddenly things start acting up and the temperature is all wonky. And Picard
Pressure,
knows
they
it.
changed pressure too, right?
Yeah, they did. Yep. And Picard instantly knows exactly.
Yeah,
what
what those numbers are. Yeah,
Yeah, he knows exactly what they are.
31.1 degrees Celsius.
Yep.
Yep.
That's hot.
it is hot.
That is really hot. That's like a summer day up here in Canada.
Well,
It's like my dad's house.
that's like spring day here.
Oh, Jesus. 31. Well, 31 degrees is like 80 something.
Yeah, we
Fahrenheit.
just had 82 degrees like 2 days ago. So.
That's nice. That's a good. All right, where I live in Alabama,
Yeah.
an 82-degree day is like it's nice.
Yes.
You know, it's very nice, and you know, it's perfect to go swimming. And
Well, and the Borg made it humid too, didn't they?
yeah,
So
Yeah.
that would have been the
And there was-
worst.
in Louisiana.
They also do a whole thing with the atmosphere. They add fluorine to the atmosphere.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I never
did.
understood why they do that.
I-
They want nice teeth, I guess. Oh, that's fluoride. Sorry.
Maybe they were trying to do something to the crew.
I don't know.
I think
I mean,
it probably has to do with the nanotech.
Picard says just like a Borg ship.
Yeah.
So that's apparently what they do on their own ships. So they're obviously if they're going to take over the Enterprise, they're going to make it as much like their ship as they prefer.
Or maybe
Exactly.
a species that they assimilated that
Right.
ended up
Eating
being
that.
part of the lungs or something of the Borg.
Maybe with their
maybe they needed.
cybernetic implants, it's better for them to be hot than it is for them to be normal.
Yeah. Maybe.
Maybe their cybernetic implants work better or some stupid reason like that.
Right. That's what I was thinking. It was probably help communication.
And then with this is also, there are so many Easter eggs in this movie for the other series, like the Deep Space Nine Easter egg with the Defiant and Worf, and then Worf coming back to the TNG crew, and then we have EMH in sick bay.
That's
A
right.
little Easter egg
Mhm.
for Voyager.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm a doctor, not a doorstop. Well, today you're gonna be both.
I'm a doctor.
Tell a joke, do a dance. Just give
I
us a
don't
couple
care.
minutes.
Just do something.
There's also you also see Zephyr Cochrane parts of this movie in Enterprise as well. When they do a dark side of
right.
Enterprise, you get to see
Yeah.
you get to see the footage that they didn't use in the movie in that TV show.
Yeah.
Like the picture of Zephyr Cochrane with his people behind him, where he's looking up and he's talking about the future. You
Yeah.
don't see that. That was a deleted scene from the movie
yeah.
that they ended up using in the TV show instead, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was in the Dark
The Dark Mirror episode,
Dark Mirror episode.
Yeah.
That's right.
12
where
gauge.
where Hoshi becomes the new
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
not believable. Anyway, let's get back.
I
No.
don't know, man.
Nah,
Back in the day, she flipped my switches.
she's really the most milquetoast character in that entire show. But anyway,
I know.
we haven't even really gotten
Well,
into.
vapid. not wrong.
Can I have a shirt? No.
But then again, sometimes
It's got to be tough to stand out when you have.
some people.
It's got to be tough when you have Jolene Blaylock playing next to you. It's kind of like, how can I possibly stand out next to this girl?
So we end up, we've got two things. We've got trying to stop the Borg up on the Enterprise, and then we've got go down.
Well, they blow the sphere away, right?
Yeah,
But not after it's shot at the surface.
yeah. So they go down to see what's going on, and Picard is like, he's like the worst for temporal fucking. Holy crap.
What?
He's such a bad temporal prime direct. Between him and Janeway,
Oh, Janeway's much worse.
there's the
But
temporal.
that's probably writing though. They probably wrote her to do that.
Yeah.
Picard tries. He tries to make sure everything's okay. Janeway just doesn't give a shit. She
That's
just thinks
true.
everything's going to work out, and it does. But Picard's like, we have to fix things, make them, put them back to the way they were supposed to be. At least he shows that concern of
That's
having
true.
the timeline be right. You know,
That's true. Janeway's just like
you don't care.
Janeway's like, I hate time paradoxes. Ah!
Like she hasn't run into him like 5 or 6 times, more than everybody else by a lot. Anyway,
Either it's her or the Delta Quadrant is a very spoopy place.
Yeah. Well, somebody keeps fucking with this timeline. Just saying.
So we
someone's playing Jumanji, if you ask me.
Yeah, we
Indeed.
So we get to
meet Lily. Right?
Lily. Yep. Who plays Lily? It's I always recognize.
I'm looking at her right
voice.
now, but I don't remember her name.
Yeah, she's got such a pretty face and big eyes.
All right, you're gonna make me Google, aren't you? Fine. Lily, Star Trek,
match this. All right, yeah.
First Contact. She's a well-known actress.
Right, her name is Alfre Woodward.
Alfre.
Alfre
Woodard is her name.
Okay. Interesting.
ALFRE. Alfre Woodard. But she's been in a lot of stuff. She's like a very well-known actress. She usually doesn't wear her hair that short though.
Doc Dog says Jolene has an incredibly flat ass. That poor girl.
Yeah, but that's really not what I'm looking at.
So we have.
She has a very pretty face.
We meet Lily, and she's clearly and obviously very scared, because we've just finished the atomic horror, as they called it, right? Or was no, the post-atomic horror was later than that, wasn't it? Historically, and anyway, they've faced a big third world war, I think, is what the Riker
says something like Third World War, not many governments left, 8 billion people killed, something like that.
Yeah.
No resistance.
Did the Borg parts rust?
Who knows?
No, they're not made out of steel. They're not magnetic. They don't rust. They're not iron or steel. They're all aluminum and shit like that.
Probably some composite.
Or composite, yeah.
Titanium shit. Yeah.
I would think about that time in the future they'd have some pretty crazy metals that don't.
Well, you know, have you seen all this printed metal and shit? You know, like
old 3D printing.
Yeah.
Are they printing metal now? I knew they were printing plastic forever.
Dude, I mean, anything now they're
printing food,
protein. Yeah, exactly.
Chocolate.
Printing organs, body parts,
houses.
Jesus,
it's amazing, isn't it?
Amen.
So
we
no rust is the answer.
Squirrel. That's what it means when she says.
And then we meet Zephram Cochrane, who we find out is a blithering alcoholic.
It's a cousin. It's my cousin. Holy moly!
And it's your classic never meet your heroes, right? It's
yeah.
Because Geordi and Barclay are all like, "Wow, it's Zephram Cochrane."
Yeah, but Deanna did great. Like winning him over. You know, this is my favorite scene. Is this scene with her in it? She did great with that.
It took 4 shots of something called tequila for him to talk to me. So don't. What did she say? Don't question my counseling methods or something like that.
Have we forgotten in the future that tequila exists? I guess maybe because she's Beta Z, she doesn't know.
Or, well, it is 2063, and they moved on to
gajillion other worlds,
know. 2063, we're at 2020 right now.
Yeah.
Are we going to forget about tequila in 40 years?
Who knows?
Yeah, but I mean, think about it. If you're like a member of a confederation where, you know, there's multiple planets with multiple drinks and stuff, it would.
You're one of the royal families on Beta Z. Do you think you're gonna be drinking Jose Cuervo? I don't.
Also, Marina Sirtis cannot play drunk.
No, she can't.
No way was that even remotely believable.
I thought she did get funny. I thought it was good.
It was funny, but
it was funny, but she can't.
Nah.
No, she can't. She can't do drunk. But we have Zephram Cochrane having a crisis of faith, basically going, this is way, like, wait a minute, this shit is actually a thing. Like, this is way too big for me, right? I'm not supposed to be, like, I can't be this hero or whatever you guys see me as. One of my favorite scenes is freaking, was it Geordi or Barclay who told him about the statue?
It was Geordi.
It was and then
You're standing on the spot that's going to have your statue.
And then Riker's like,
and you're reaching to the future.
And Riker's like, really? You had to tell him about the statue?
Yeah.
They should have put Archer's dad in First Contact. Oh.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. That would have been interesting. So we've got Picard. I can't remember. Picard and Lily get up to the ship.
Yeah. We kind of went ahead of all that. Yeah.
We're jumping around. Picard goes like super crazy.
She passes out from the damaged throttle assembly radiation.
Right.
And Beverly gives him the don't worry, I'll keep her asleep, which we know that's not going to happen. They beam up, and then that's where the whole doorstop and all that kind of stuff with the EMH, all that stuff happens. But then Picard's also up there as well when all this is happening, and they end up running into each other because they have to evacuate the sick bay. For some reason, the Borg really want to get into sick bay. Not sure why, but they really want to get in there.
Maybe they needed that analgesic that Doc was offering them.
That's funny.
The analgesic cream.
So Picard and Lily run into each other, and she almost kills him.
Yeah, she's screaming and.
If you would have fired, you would have vaporized me.
Yeah.
It's my first ray gun. Oh. So adorable.
But it's Picard. You get to see like an almost unhinging of Picard in this movie, which is really cool.
Oh yeah, that's later though.
Yeah, his character does a great arc.
Well, it's not even really that later.
Well, we skipped over the whole fact that Data's been stolen already.
I was gonna get to that.
That happens before Picard loses it.
Yeah. Data is captured by the Borg Queen, and we keep returning to them because she's trying to entice him with stuff like, skin and being more human than he's ever been.
And they kiss.
Oh, yeah, that was weird.
Oh,
that was weird.
I guess a Borg is like kissing a zombie.
Yeah. Unless it's Seven.
However, Alice Krige, when she's not in her Borg makeup, is a very attractive lady.
She's got a nice voice.
Expressive voice.
I like her voice.
But if you see her without all of her Borg coloring and hair and all that, lack of hair, all that kind of stuff, you see her like as a regular human being. She's got pretty blonde hair and she's a very attractive woman.
She plays Loxana as well, right?
And no, that's Majel Barrett.
That's Majel Barrett. That's right.
Yeah.
Didn't Majel Barrett do a?
She does the computer voice.
Yeah, she did I thought for some reason that she did a Borg Queen as well at some point. No?
Not that I know of. You know more than I do about that stuff.
No, I could be wrong. I'm not as good as with the actresses and Borg Queen and Data sex. They didn't quite get that far.
So after they capture Data, there's a whole holodeck scene, right?
Yeah, and this is where you start to see Picard kind of crack.
This is where it starts, yeah.
Yeah, he just goes because they're in his Dixon Hill.
Yeah, he needs to talk to Nikki Danos.
Yeah, he needs to talk to Nikki Danos.
Nikki Danos.
And he goes absolutely insane. He just unloads on this, and since the holodeck safeties are off.
Which we don't hear him tell the computer to do, which we always hear them say,
Yeah.
turn it off. And the computer says, are you sure? And he says, yes. We never hear him say it, but somehow they are off.
Maybe the Borg.
Maybe because he's captain, he can just type it into the panel when he brings up
Maybe.
the episode. But everybody else has to ask, pretty please first. Geordi has to ask. B'Elanna has to ask. Data has to ask.
Data needed
Of all
another
people.
officer for it to.
Yes. Yes. He needed
That
to
always
another-
bothered me in Extreme Risk because B'Elanna didn't need a secondary officer to do that, and she had less command influence than Data did.
Data's a bridge officer. She's technically a bridge officer. She's in charge of engineering. Geordi's in charge of
That's
engineering.
true.
It seems like she's pretty close to everybody else, except that there was no one to compete with her. There was nobody in engineering besides the captain who knew anything about engineering. She was the only engineer in engineering of any note, except for the Vulcan guy. But he was obviously a much junior officer.
And Joe Carey, who got passed over.
Yeah, he got killed.
Well, he got killed in season 7, though.
Right.
He made it almost the whole way. You just didn't see him very much.
Yeah. But
After B'Elanna
what does
punches
Picard
him
use?
in
A
the
Tommy
face.
gun, right?
Yeah, he Tommy guns the frickin' Borg.
Like the least accurate weapon he probably could have ever used.
Praying all over.
Yeah, all
like-
over them. That's absolutely right. He's just like, I'll just hit
and
everything
he's
in the whole.
screaming.
People are
He's-
diving everywhere. Of course, they're holographic people, but people are just diving underneath tables because he's just like spraying everywhere.
And he's just screaming like at the top of his.
Ah.
And she's like, "Hey,
I think you got
I
him.
think you got him." And then he just starts ripping implants out of the.
She says it seriously, but that part made me laugh because
Yeah.
if she would have said it with a little bit of lilt to her voice, it would have been hilarious.
Mm.
You know, because she says, "Hey, I think you got him." It's like, very serious, but she was "I think you got him."
Yeah.
It would have been so funny.
But I think like even she was kind of like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
wrong with this dude, right? Like, because she just met him.
Yeah,
So
she doesn't realize the history.
know his
Right.
history, right?
Right.
And so she's like, what am I watching? Like, he's like,
These future people are dicks.
yeah, like, so, and then he just starts ripping implants out of that dead Borg. Like, he's just not like, and it's one of his. Like, she's like, isn't that one of yours? Right? Like,
Yeah,
'cause
this used to be
she's-
Ensign
This
Lynch.
used to be Ensign Lynch. He's
The
not.
way he
Ensign-
says Lynch is weird too.
Yeah.
Ensign Lynch. It's a weird way to say it. Maybe it's his accent. It just sounds
Yeah.
weird the way he says it.
But it's just like
Tough luck, huh?
how he snapped. Like,
I'm sorry. Some of these things just seem funny to me. I mean, everyone else is like, "Why is Hammer laughing?" But it just seems funny to me.
no, well, it is.
that whole thing
kind of
is
funny.
like-
It's because it's so out of character for him
Yes.
that it's almost
she has the moral ground. He doesn't, which we never see before.
yeah. Picard.
He's always the one with the morality.
yeah.
where everyone
Picard
else is all
always has the moral ground.
Yep.
Even when he's in situations that are questionable, he somehow always manages to have the moral ground. But now in this movie, he goes batshit insane. And like, yeah,
for
Ensign,
Picard, yeah.
like, yeah, Ensign Lynch is no longer Ensign Lynch, but
Lord.
usually you would see a little bit more like sadness, like I've lost a crew member to the Borg.
Yeah.
But in this, he's just like, this used to be Ensign Lynch, yank, yank, yank. It's like, wow.
Because he's made the thing in his mind that once the Borg takes somebody, they're gone.
They're gone. Yeah.
And this is now just a Borg
Right.
person.
Which is an interesting.
He should know.
With
Yeah.
he should know, but at the same time, he was able to be saved. So it's an interesting.
Well, I think there's a part of him that believes he's he's not fixed. He's not
Mm,
whole, right?
yeah.
That there's residual, you know, so it's
Well,
just left him on whole.
because wasn't there something that Crusher couldn't take out? Isn't there?
Yeah,
She couldn't disconnect him. They're afraid he was going to die if she disconnected him.
No,
microtech.
but I mean, isn't like after Best of Both Worlds, didn't she have to leave something
Oh, she
in?
had a thing on his face, but that was just for him to heal. It wasn't a
Oh,
Borg
I thought there
okay.
implant.
was some part of in his brain around his optic nerve. There was some area she couldn't take out.
Well, that's where they put that hole in, and they put that piece
Yeah,
that
Yeah,
what's her face 6 of 9 has or 7 of 9 has to
seven of
deal with
nine.
that little metal pod that's in her head that keeps her from having emotions.
Cortical implant.
Cortical implant. There you go.
cortical
You
implant.
know so much. You're so
Yeah.
smart. But yeah, that's the area. But they do like the top right corner of his face. It's got a big plastic shield on it or something like that.
Mm.
So
Yeah, like maybe he does have this feeling like that he's no matter what happened, like because you see it with Hugh, right?
Mhm.
Where
yeah,
he was like, "It's why are you like even talking to Guinan, right? Why are you talking to it, right?
right.
I don't want to hear what it has to say." Um, Stuff like that. So this could just be an extension of that, and it's also very personal. On top of him being invaded by the Borg back in the series, they've now invaded his ship.
Right.
So it's another invasion to him. It's another attack on him, and it feels probably a lot more personal than it normally would. Like, because you would think normally it would just be like, shit, there's intruders on my ship. I got to get them out. But I think this was more of um a personal feeling for Picard, and I think that's what made him snap. Um
They do the whole walk on the outside of the ship first, right? Before he orders the Enterprise.
yeah, because they do the spacewalk and Worf
Almost throws up.
almost throws up. Yeah,
He's such a badass until
big
he has to
bad
do something like
Klingons
that.
that
Yeah.
can't do spacewalks.
He strikes me as a person who can kill at a drop of a hat but hates spiders.
Yep. You killed my girlfriend, I'll kill you. Is that a spider?
Yeah.
Get that away from me right now. um, so we have him going, assimilate this, and
That was a great shot. Great
that was
explosion.
awesome. Um, but they discuss, like, even the rest of the crew basically comes to the realization that we're gonna have to blow up the Enterprise.
How many people knew that Ensign Hawk was going to die?
Oh,
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody knew Ensign Hawk was going to
Neil
die.
McDonough,
All he had to do was put on a red shirt and we would have been confirmed.
Yeah.
very striking blue eyes and white hair. Now he's he's a handsome dude, good actor. He's from Band of Brothers.
Uh-huh.
He's on the 100 and there's something else I'm forgetting. Uzi will tell me if she heard it. Anyway.
So then we have a great scene on the bridge where they're all talking about blowing up, just destructing the Enterprise. And Picard's like, "No, we stand and we fight. We're not blowing up the ship. Not while I'm captain. It's not happening." And
Yeah.
even
Stand your ground. Fight hand to hand if you have to.
yeah.
And
And
they all look at him like, what?
yeah,
You're out of your mind. And who speaks up?
Worf,
Yep.
the one guy who you would think, and Picard
Would
even
want to
says,
stay and fight, right? Yeah.
and Picard even says that. He goes, I would have thought you would have been the one guy who would have been standing with me," and he calls him
Yeah.
a coward.
Dude,
Yeah,
he was trying to get
you want to blow
smart,
up his
man.
ship. You're a coward.
And
No
Worf,
shit.
the way Michael Dorn
Man.
acted that.
Oh man.
I was expecting like when I saw that in the theater for the first time, I thought Worf was gonna hit him. I thought
I
Worf
did
was
too,
gonna
man.
yell at him. I thought Worf was gonna swear at him in Klingon, and all he says is, "If you were any other man, I would kill you where you stand."
Yep.
And it was
and I don't think it's an
better-
empty threat either. I think
And
if it was any
for
other man,
sure.
he would have done it.
Oh, for sure, without a word.
Yeah.
Without
Didn't
a
even call him
word.
Patak.
No, he wouldn't have even said that. He would have, "You coward," and there would have been a blade in that
That would have been
person's
it.
chest. There would have been no words. And even like before Worf says that, like Beverly goes, "Jean-Luc." Like,
Yeah.
what the like Beverly's like, "Oh my god, like," she's like, "Am I gonna have to," like, I think she was thinking she was gonna have to, save his life for a second, right? 'Cause she's like,
Good thing she was on the bridge at the time. If he
yeah,
would have gotten the knife, she would have been like, let me try to keep this person alive.
but yeah, it was like, and I think the way that they had Worf say that, like the way that was written, him just saying, "What if you were any other man, I would kill you where you stand." Perfect way to have that.
Yeah. That made the whole scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lily goes after him.
And yeah, and
And this is where he loses it.
oh yeah, and they're like, "Well, we gotta stay, we gotta fight," and she's like, "Fuck that."
In different words, of course, but
Yeah, but she's like, "We're no, we're not. That's suicide. You all know that's suicide. I'm going to talk to him." And she goes in there. She calls him Captain Ahab, which was great.
yeah.
That was great.
You want to go and hunt?
Even
your
though she
what
never
whale.
actually read the book.
Yeah, but she got it right.
He had.
It's a great speech. There was an episode of TNG where Q was sparring with Picard. Picard gave him a lecture, and Q says, sometimes I come here just because I like to hear you give these little speeches. And he gives a great one here, this far, no further.
No further.
They do
Yeah.
this, and we fall back. They do this, and we fall back.
Yeah.
That's a great speech.
It
Probably
is
the best part of the movie, as far as
and you can tell, like, and it's not wrong. Like, I can see both sides. That's what I like about this movie, is that the writers made it so that we could empathize with both
yeah,
schools of thought.
that's a good
Right.
point.
We know that it makes sense to blow up the ship, right? We know that logically. But emotionally, we also know, fuck that. The Borg always come. They always screw with us. We always bitch out and run away.
Yeah,
This is my house. This is my ship. You came and you invaded my body earlier, like before. I'm done.
even when we win, the toll is so high.
Yeah. So I mean, you can, and that's good writing. That's when your writers can have the viewer empathize with both sides and understand both sides. That's
So this was a Brandon Braga, and Ronald D. Moore.
see, and Brandon Braga always did great writing.
Together,
Yeah.
as soon as you separate them, they fall apart.
Yeah. And then
Duck Dog says
Frank's
the-
directing.
Duck Dog says the here and now line is my favorite. Yeah.
He says, after he says the whole thing, he ends with, "And I will make them pay for what they've done," and that's what triggers Lily.
Yeah.
She's like, that was the whole line about where is your sense of morality now,
Yeah.
and I will make him pay. In other words, it's personal.
Yeah.
And that's where everything tips. As soon as he says that, it's clear that this is a vendetta.
Yeah.
Great line.
And
Great speech.
And the complete climax of his break is when he smashes all of his
Little ships.
little ships.
I wonder why she used that term.
You broke your little
Oh, yeah,
ship.
ships.
If
And
you'll
the way he
notice,
swings.
one of those was a model of the
E,
Vulcan
or
shuttle.
the Enterprise
Well,
D was in there too.
There was a D in there, and the Vulcan shuttle model kit. Both of those were the model kits, man.
Well,
And
I'm
only a
looking at
model
that.
nerd like me would know that shit.
Yeah, I'm looking at the screenshot, or I've paused the movie because I've been playing the movie in the background while we're talking, and you see the Enterprise A, or the Enterprise, and then next to it the Enterprise A. So they're two different models, one with the round cylinders and one with the flat warp nacelles.
Okay.
And then you see there's ships on that platform that are not and never have been the Enterprise. There's one there that has a single nacelle above the ship.
Yeah, that's some of the designs.
And the E was is there on the right hand side. The one they're actually in was one of the models.
Yeah.
And the D is also there, and that's the one she picks up. She picks up the back end of the D.
Yeah.
It says that.
But
It's weird the way he does it, though. He kind of backhands the glass.
Yeah.
Why didn't it sever his hand off? He should have thrown, the weapon at the window or something like that. But the fact that he backhanded it, I mean, when she's picking up the stuff, there's glass all over the place, and and we're still using glass on starships. What's that all about?
Yeah, no shit.
Maybe it's
Scotty would be pissed. That's supposed to be transparent aluminum.
Yes.
Indeed.
But they had to write the scene, so they had to make it breakable.
Yeah.
It's just funny.
Can't really punch.
That scene doesn't make any sense. He backhands the display and it shatters and it doesn't hurt him. All those things are all wrong. Why would he backhand it? Why would it be glass? Why? None of it makes any sense. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Doug says, thank you for pointing that out, Hammer.
Sorry. We can move
on. So then he finally decides to blow up the ship. And then and then it's almost like they've all forgotten where Data is. That's the one problem I have with this.
That's a good point.
With this whole movie, it's great, except
Data's on board, but fuck him.
Everyone forgets that, nobody mentions where's Data, right? Nobody has been nobody's asked where Data is.
Him and Worf were there when he was taken,
right? So
two of them already know that. I guess at some point off camera, Beverly could have asked Picard, and he could have told him or something like that. But
it's like
Riker, Worf, and Picard were all there when it happened.
But it's almost like Picard forgot, because when they meet up again, he's like, Data. What do you mean, Data? You knew where he was. Are you surprised at the fact that he's still there, or are you surprised at what the Borg Queen did?
Or the fact that he could hear?
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, Picard, as soon as he hears Data in his head, he knows that Data has been quote unquote assimilated as much as Data can be, because now Data can speak as if he was a Borg.
Mm-hmm.
Although the Borg Queen made it clear that he could do that anyway.
Yeah.
Because when they have him strapped to the board, she says, "Why are you using your simple linguistics? I'm trying to be more human." In other words, he's capable of telepathy.
Yeah. But we get the little back and forth between the Borg Queen and Picard trying to get Data to come to the dark side. No, come to the good side. your movie trope. And of course Data disconnects himself and rips off the skin,
but he's fully functional.
He was fully functional without that.
Various techniques.
Just ask Tasha Yar.
Yeah, just ask.
That's right. That was a nice nod to that scene.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That was an unforgettable episode.
Yeah. So, and then we have, Picard asking Data, how long, because he goes, there was a time that I was tempted, right?
Oh yeah, that was after the fight
Because
scene.
how long were you tempted for? He goes, what was it, 0.06 seconds or something like that? And
Yeah.
Picard was like, what? And he goes, for an android, that's an eternity. It's like... And then of course we have the flight, the Zephram Cochrane's flight, and last little bit of comedy. We're taking off. We're taking off, and he goes, "We can't go yet. We can't go yet." And they're like, "What's wrong? I don't have my music."
Yeah, Ooby Dooby.
No. Ooby Dooby was in the bar. This was Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
Magic
Oh,
Carpet Ride.
yeah. Magic Carpet Ride. It sure was.
Thank God for Steppenwolf, or we would never have first contact.
But that was just too funny. Just, oh shit, we can't go yet. I don't have my tape. Oh, there it is.
Well, let's rock and roll.
And Jordy's like, "Are you serious?"
And Riker says, "Turn it down," and he turns it off. It's like, no, don't turn it off. I like that song. Just turn it down a little bit.
That's because Riker is not a party animal.
No, he's not. Guy plays trombone, for Christ's sake.
Badly too.
But it was nice to hear Zephyrin Cochrane on his first work flight. His reaction. Ah!
Yeah. Just because that's gotta be, when you think about that, when you really think about it, that was probably what the Wright brothers were doing.
Yeah.
And that was probably what Chuck Yeager was doing.
Yeah. Because no one's ever gone that fast before.
Yeah. So
of course, Riker and Geordi are kind of like, this is only warp 1.
But Zephram's like, oh my god!
And they turn around. Is that Earth?
Mm-hmm.
It's so small.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
It's a great
awesome.
reaction.
He's
He's a good actor, James Conwell.
Oh yeah, for sure. He is just amazing. But it was such a human,
It's a human reaction. Just if I would have been there, I probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah. I love that they used Steppenwolf's as Anthrax Allen. Yep. Chuck Yeager was probably too worried about his broken freaking arms. Duck Dog.
Enterprise was an abortion.
Are we talking about the TV show?
I think that's what he's saying.
Enterprise.
It had
I
its
used
bad points.
I used to hate it. I used to really, really hate the whole thing. And I'm kind of glad that doing this stream has gotten me to watch it, because it's nowhere near the caliber of the other series, but it's not bad. It's not a bad show. There are some good points to it, especially when it got to season 4, and it's really a shame that
Its fate was already sealed by then.
Its fate was sealed by then. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame. It just never got a chance to get its legs, and that whole thing with that whole Expanse thing that they had to go through. If that never would have happened, and they just made it episodic TV like normal, it would have survived a lot longer.
Yeah, a season of because Deep Space Nine managed to do that really well. They managed to carry on the whole war for 3 or 4 seasons.
Well, the war was ancillary to the stories, where with Enterprise, the war was the story.
Yeah, which was the problem.
Except for that one break where Yoshi and that guy with the weird head, that one episode that was like, where did this episode come from?
Yeah.
Her stalker.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
I miss Voyager /TNG / Deep Space Nine Star Trek, says Anthrax Allen. Yeah.
Yeah, there hasn't been anything good since Enterprise. So
that's that.
They do the warp flight, and then Data tries to shoot them, but intentionally misses.
Yes.
And then punctures the warp plasma conduit coolant.
Yep.
She screams and all the other Borg die.
Yep.
And then there was that point we were mentioning before about how long it took before he considered her
Yeah.
role
Yep.
or offer.
And then of course they meet the Vulcans after we do the flight, and they do the live long and prosper thing, and
I'm surprised nobody from the Enterprise taught him how to properly do the Vulcan salute. Look, you're going to be meeting these guys, all right, and they're going to do this, and you got to be able to do it back.
maybe they felt like they couldn't even.
That would be
do
tampering.
That. Yeah. See, Janeway would have done that.
Yes, Jamie would have done that.
Janeway would have prepared him for that. She would have briefed him on the Vulcans.
I wonder if Cromwell
Yeah, she
can't
would've.
do that
Ah.
because there's a couple of actors who can't do it. They don't have them.
It's hard. I had trouble doing it for a while.
It's hard. Really?
I had trouble doing it for a bit.
Do you have a hard time with it, Irate?
Not anymore. Like, now that I know how it looks.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
there's that.
When I was a kid, yeah, I taught myself how to do it. I made myself learn how to do it.
I never had a problem.
I always mix it up with the peace sign, though.
Mm.
Well, that's a lot easier.
It's like and the how Spock used to lift his eyebrow.
Oh, the Spock
I practiced that
eyebrow?
in front. Yeah, I practiced that in front of the mirror too.
I can't do that. I can't wink either.
I was obsessed with that shit
Well,
back in the day. I guess I was like 4 or 5 years old, maybe.
I do notice
5.
how some people do the Vulcan seal a little
60s.
different than others. Like back in the day when Spock did it, his fingers were straight.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I noticed that in the Kelvin timeline, when the new Spock, what's his name, the guy who from
Zachary
Heroes,
Quinto.
yeah, Quinto, when he does it, he kind of bends his fingers a little bit. They're kind of rounded. He doesn't
Maybe
have
he
his fingers.
can't. Maybe
I don't
he
know.
can't.
I don't know. I think Sarek bends his fingers a little bit too. It's not straight up and down like it is for Spock. So there is some variation anyway. But I guess that's true for everybody. Some people have a firm handshake. Some people don't.
Yep. So we get all of that over with, and
Then we get to Ooby Dooby.
we get the Ooby Dooby.
Wah,
Yeah.
doo, wah, doo, wah.
Which was a great way to end the like, instead of having the just going right into the TNG music, they
Mhm.
start with
That first, yeah.
that first, and then they kind of fade into the musical scoring for this movie was awesome.
It was.
Yeah.
It was extremely well done.
The
Ooby
musical
Dooby's a great pick
scoring,
too. Just saying.
the audio engineering, everything was just on point.
Yeah, it's hard to pick apart anything. Like the only thing I was able to get was just some of that whole thing with him smashing his display.
Yeah.
But really, when it comes down to it, everything makes a lot of sense. Even when Lily's shooting him and he's falling, it's shooting Data when he's falling down inside the
Yeah.
thing. The look on her, the way she reacts, the way she looks, and all that kind of stuff fits perfectly for what's happening at that point. Very well acted.
No, it was an awesome. It's like I said, by far my favorite out of the 4 TNG movies.
hmm The only person that was weak in this entire movie, I think, was Troy.
Yeah.
She didn't really have any good parts. She didn't really do, and when she did have a part to play, she didn't play it very well.
The doc.
Yeah.
Well,
was-
Beverly had some parts. First of all, she was one who told the doorstop what to do. Then she lost Lily, found Lily. She was the one who, when Picard said, "We're going to stay," Lily says, "What do we do now?" And Beverly says, "We follow his orders." And she starts barking out orders. She took charge. So she had some parts that were good. She didn't have any parts that were obviously bad.
Yeah.
Troy had most of her parts were obviously bad.
Yeah.
I think maybe Beverly was a little underutilized, if that's what you're saying. I agree
think
with you.
so.
I agree with you on that point.
So next week we do Insurrection
Mm.
with Worf and Picard singing Gilbert and Sullivan to start out the movie.
Oh man.
So that'll be fun.
Blue sky.
Dude, it has been so long since I've seen that movie.
That's Nemesis.
Is that Nemesis?
Yeah. So we're gonna do Insurrection next week, at 5 p.m. Eastern. And tomorrow night, Blind in the Special at 10 p.m. Eastern. If anyone is interested, I've started doing blogging. I've started putting up blog posts on my Patreon to provide a bit more content.
Cool.
And so generalized blog posts are going to be accessed by all patrons, and if I do any creative writing like short stories or anything, that'll be for the 2 top tiers. So if that's something that interests you, please consider checking out my Patreon, which is in the description. And everybody's Twitter is in the description. Irate, who do you have tomorrow?
Okay, well, first of all right, after I do this in about an hour, well, less than an hour, I'll be on Becca's show.
Oh, nice.
Right? Yeah. And then 8 o'clock tonight, Accelerated Deconstruction. I was just looking over what we got. It looks like we're going to be looking at cultural relativism. And it's actually, this is from this book called Cynical Theories. See?
Okay.
All right. Yeah. And then tomorrow, Lady Monkey
Nice.
is going to be the ice cream. Yes, the ice cream du jour, and we're gonna have fun. I think we're gonna have a good time, man.
Oh, you will.
Yeah.
Lady Monkey's awesome.
And then Monday will be we're starting a 6-part thing on communism.
Okay.
So yeah, Becca, it's called Extra Credit with me with Becca Fairley.
Okay.
So
very cool.
yeah.
And of course, if anyone is interested, Minions of the Zoo, nightly at 11:30 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, I'm working on a project for them as well.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I haven't. Didn't I say that last time we were together?
You said
I hinted at it.
were doing some sort of project.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
a project going, moving along at a crisp pace. I just recruited Mustafa. Sorry, I always get his name wrong. Mustafa the Axeman to do the music for the show.
Nice.
So that's coming along. I should have something in the works here, probably starting this coming week. So
Very exciting.
we're going to be very busy.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. Thank you to Irate and Hammer for joining me as always.
Thank you.
And
My pleasure.
The coffee stream will be starting up not this week, but next week. So look for that. Thank you all for watching, and have a great rest of your weekend. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Later.